Day 23. Day 23 is a big day. Day 23 is the day that I am being very responsible and accountable. So I'm standing out in front of Pass Christian Courthouse because I had to go and reschedule my trial date from drunk in public, right? The beginning of my relapse started at a bar in Pass Christian. So, I like Pass Christian. I like to come here again at some point in the future and not have to be worried about getting arrested on a warrant. So, here you go, courthouse. The interesting thing is, the clerk asked me, do you just want an arraignment or do you want to go to trial? And I started chit-chatting to her about what happened, and truth is that I'm gonna go to trial. I'm probably gonna plead it out, but the arresting officer did not make the proper procedures at the time of the arrest, and I'm not certain I want to even be Perry Mason here for a moment. I think I'm gonna be pay the fine and get out the court guy, but we'll see. So last Wednesday in the month of March is the day that I'll show back up for court. So funny thing is, I told my buddy Renee, when I get there, I will send you a text when I'm walking in court. In case y'all don't come out, you'll know I'm in court, right? And why would you do that? Renee asks. So never said an alcoholic or somebody that's going into a criminal proceeding. Why wouldn't you do that? Well, you're walking in a building where they can take your civil rights away and throw your ass in jail. So the good news is that they've had my email from my peer-to-peer representative, Angela, from the inpatient rehab I was in. And Angela handled this for me. So kind of her to do, and communicate with them and let them know that I was in inpatient. So, you talk to people, and when you tell them your story, they always tell you about their story. So the clerk's uncle has been sober for 20 years, and she's got a nephew in sobriety as well. So it's always around you, and all you got to do is just be honest and open up on the conversations, and you'll always find somebody that has sort of the same thing going on in their life, either them or somewhere in their close circle. So back to the courthouse. I'm going to pause this because I really don't know how to edit, and I'm going to go back to the scene of the crime, which actually is only across the street. So all they had to really do was just put me here instead of putting me in jail. But that's the way it goes when you're drunk in a parking lot in Pass Christian, Mississippi, where a lot of people get drunk in bars and end up, falling face first in a parking lot. So anyway, back in a sec. Okay, well, we'll have to edit this, right? So on January 1 of 2025, I was in this bar back here drinking, thinking I could be a responsible drinker. I wasn't drinking, I went to get food. My friend worked that day. I think it was that day. I don't really remember. Yeah, I was drinking. It's not my job to remember all that. I'm living the consequences. So something happened. And this place, Shaggy's, they serve good drinks. And you can get a really good drink if you tip well. So, being a professional at this, I know how to work that game. So it sounded like, yeah, I'll have a double Tito's and a splash cran. My signature line of my alcoholic career. Double Tito's, splash cran. And so that's what I had here. Double Tito's and a splash cran. I think I had maybe 3. And came out, and the bar manager realized that I was probably drinking a little much. I'm still have to go to court, so I have to watch what I say. And he very generously came out and asked me for my keys. And I was very willing to give those up because I was just going to Uber back to where I was staying, which is not even 2 miles, 3 miles from here. I could have walked it actually. But in great Manny Cologne fashion, I fell in the water. I love the water, right? I'm a boat guy, so being in the water, falling off a pier is no big deal to me. I've done it before, even in bayous with alligators, so I'm a pro at that. But yep, I tripped and fell in the water right around where those people are currently walking. And of course, when that happens, people jump in, they want to save you, and they did. They got me out the water, and next thing I know, 5-0's rolling up on the scene, and not a good way to end your New Year's Day. So that happened, and tried to tell the guy I was okay, tried to allow him to, ask him to let me just catch an Uber and go back to where I was staying. I don't really remember all the reasons. The wind's blowing, so the tripod's rocking, and I don't want to drop the tripod in the water because I don't need to make too splashing impressions here. So long story short is I didn't have my keys. I offered to take an Uber home. I fall in the water. 5-0 shows up. I go to jail. I spend a couple hours in jail. I think 12 maybe. That's probably the amount for them to get paid from the county. That's how it is in New Orleans. 12 hours in OPP gets money from the state. So there must be a 12-hour rule on all this. So anyway, released on my own recognizance, hid it away quite well. Not many people knew about it. And I did power through that day, made it to work and made it back, and ended up in rehab 6 days later. So sober date for me is every morning, but officially my sober date on my second go round on sobriety is January 7th, but my splashdown was on January 1. So day 23, I feel a lot better about the fact that that's off my plate now, and I have to show back up, of course, for court, which I will do. I don't think I'm gonna have a Perry Mason moment, as I may have said a moment ago, but I am gonna talk to the DA about the way the whole thing went down. I'll probably just plead it out though. So back to New Orleans.